Kari Lake acknowledged in an interview on Monday that she didn't know who exactly stole the election after being pressed multiple times for proof that the election had been stolen, but she argued the country's elections were not secure. Lake, who narrowly lost the Arizona gubernatorial race in 2022 to Governor Katie Hobbs, excuse me, I was thinking of the actress, is running for Arizona Senate against Representative Ruben Gallego. Lake gained notoriety during the 2022 cycle for questioning the 2020 results between former President Trump and President Biden, although Biden won Arizona by just more than a quarter of a percentage point in 2020. She's also filed lawsuits disputing the results of her 2022 election, uh, though they've largely been rejected in court. During an interview on Outspoken with Bruce and Gatos on KTAR News 92.3 FM, Lake was asked if she would explain who stole the election from her in 2022 and how they did it. Yeah, well, you can look at my lawsuit, and I'm happy to do that, but I don't want to sit and look backwards because, as you have complained, she just conveniently looks backwards, Lake said. She just constantly looks backward, Lake said. I want to look forward, and these lawsuits are meant to make sure that going forward, our elections are strong, that the people of Arizona have faith in them. Lake was pressed again on who stole the gubernatorial election from her, and how it happened between before the Arizona Republicans acknowledged she didn't know who specifically had compromised the election against her. The elections are run poorly. They're they're run very poorly, and I don't know who exactly stole the election, but there are a lot of people who are running elections poorly, and we've seen the results, Lake said. I'm hoping that you're not okay with 4, 5, 6 hour lines and 60% of the machines not working on election day. I think that every Arizonan wants to make sure when they cast their one legal vote, it counts. We have election month, and we count votes for 2 weeks. It's not working out. There's too many areas where fraud can slip in, she claimed. Lake added that she believes the issue of faith in the U.S. election system was a bipartisan issue and argued large portions of Republicans, Independents, and Democrats believe elections have been fraudulent. Lake's comments come as she has looked to pivot away from her previous comments on the 2020 and 2022 elections, and as Republicans have urged candidates to look toward the future and not the past, though Lake continued to legally dispute 2022 results after the election. Lake is expected to go against Gallego in Arizona for Senator Kirsten Sinema's seat. Though it is unclear if Sinema will launch a last minute bid, the seat is considered critical for either party to determine the Senate majority this fall. Well, there's quite a bit to unpack here. What does it say about our politicians when they can pretty much claim, oh, this was taken from me, this election was stolen? Okay, who stole it? I don't know. Don't you hate having to wait in line for 4 or 5 hours? Honestly, and I guess I'm going off of anecdotal evidence because I'm from California, but we are the largest state. Election lines can be long, especially for presidential elections, because that's the one that people get the most excited about. But if you go to a line in like the middle part of the day, around maybe 2, 3 in the afternoon, you're not really gonna see any. There normally aren't lines that are that long. But even if there are, like, what does it have to do with election security? Like the DMV has long lines. Nobody says, oh, I don't believe that they're securely giving me a new license. Like it's just grasping at straws at this point. And I think her pivoting or wanting to admit that she doesn't know who stole it, and then also like trying to say I'm looking toward the future. What I think she's trying to do is she knows that a lot of these people who have been spreading all this nonsense are getting in trouble. You can look at Trump's lawsuits and the money that he's being forced to pay. And she probably feels like the longer that she goes along with any election denierism stuff, there's a higher chance that she'll get in trouble with the courts and the law and the various other systems of legality that we have. So she's trying to stay away from facing those same consequences while not never admitting like, hey, you know what, I was wrong, the election wasn't stolen, because that's her thing, right? That's how she's been able to stay prominent over these last several. Like I'm still astonished by the fact that Katie Hobbs won that election And I don't even hear from her anywhere near as much as it seems I hear from Lake. Lake is just still this presence that, and she's not doing anything other than just running for another office and still talking crap and trying to be Trump's VP. So like no actual like advancing thing for anyone besides her career. But that's why I said I think she's probably looking at how all of these consequences have started to pop up for everyone pushing the election denier stuff, and she's trying to find a way to still hold on to her brand while also trying to move on. Like, okay, uh, that was in the past. Okay, are you gonna admit that you were wrong in the past? No, but we have to go forward. And I like I said, they've done articles about the fundraising totals between her and Gallego. Even though I would say she's the more famous of the two, he's doing better than she is. And that's because a lot of Republican voters, as we explained, we were talking about the Trump GoFundMe, they really don't like these other people, at least when they're not entirely Trump affiliated. Like I'm sure they would like Lake or say they like Lake, if she were his VP or became a senator and voted for all his stuff. But at the end of the day, when it's these candidates and their local races, they just can't get any money out of them. Um, which is why I do think the Democrats. I'm leaning towards them picking up that seat, but I could be wrong. I mean, if Sinema decides to mount her last minute bid and go, surprise, I'm running, then they might actually have a chance of splitting the vote to where, although they have had polls where Lake being in there with Sinema messes her up, and it could go either way, I think, at this point. Um, but trust me, if Lake becomes senator, you're going to see more of the same old crap. More election denier stuff, more generic votes. Oh, I'm pro business and whatnot. Just no attempts to really do anything besides just keep hobbling around on some. I ran for governor and lost, but I'm gonna keep saying that it was taken from me because I will never accept the results of the election as to boost my own fundraising and to have people sit through these frivolous lawsuits that ultimately are not going to change the results at all. But let's all waste time.